Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 33. Another Innistrad draft. Let's jump on in. Yeah, I thought I was going to jump into Mythic without you all. I had a pretty good draft I didn't record on video yesterday, and it it kind of fell apart. I felt like it was going to be an easy 7 winner, and we took it to like 1 win. It was brutal. that's what we get for trying to get there without being on video, I guess. Nonetheless, we're in Diamond One right now, and so hopefully we can get there. Maybe we'll end up doing it today. Uh, and yeah, this is a pretty powerful little pack here. Lots of extremely powerful things going on between Sludge Monster, Organ Hoarder, Borrowed Time. And I'm just going to come in and take the Sludge Monster. This bro is extremely powerful, tends to come out and just win a lot of games on his own. This sort of kind of pseudo removal spell. And then he's also just got this mountain of stats, which we tend to have trouble finding in blue decks. And so he tends to play pretty well everywhere. If you're in blue black, he can, kind of take down a unit without having to spend a removal spell. If you're in blue white, he can potentially just take down a flyer or something. He does quite a bit of work. I do worry about this sending people downstream into blue when we're shipping off organ hoarders, but we'll have to just deal with that as it comes. The sludge monster is too good to be passing up. Okay, so person to the right took the rare. There's no good blue cards here worth taking, just the shipwreck sifters. And so I'm happy enough to come in and take the ambitious farmhand. This is a fantastically powerful card in white. It's one of the I don't feel like it's the best white uncommon in the set. I'd rather have borrowed time, but coming down and just drawing the planes and turning into a really intimidating unit is quite good. But otherwise, out of this pack, that would put us into blue-white, and we don't have any disturb cards yet or spirits yet. We'd have to kind of keep that in the back of our head. We may be able to pick up a shipwreck sifters on the wheel, and otherwise, I don't feel like these are high enough quality cards to want to jump into blue-black. There is a play with fire, but I don't have the build-around cards for blue-red, and so we'll just go with the white play here. And cool, we just immediately paid off with a borrowed time. Somebody took a common over this. I'm curious what common people like more than borrowed time. I mean, I guess I could see if like you opened some kind of like bomb rare in black or red or something, and then if you took the black rare and got a defense trade, or the red rare and then got a midnight lightning bolt or something, maybe this could push on a little bit. But we're definitely going for it here. This is a very good white card start. Okay. Well, interesting. So again, there's no blue. I want to feel like blue is just kind of cut off at this point, and so that leaves us in an interesting space. We can look towards white black, which Eaten Alive plays reasonably well in. We could look to Boros, which I'm gonna decline to do. There is a Seize the Storm, but I really don't want to be playing Seize the Storm unless it seems like blue red is particularly open. And so with the way it seems blue is getting cut from us here, I think we're just going to go with the Eaten Alive and see if that puts us towards a white black deck. Okay, another, reasonably weak set of cards. The red appears to be kind of open with Burn the Accursed and the Immolations going kind of late. I mean, you can pick these up 8th and 9th, but we are seeing big strings of red cards. I think we're just going to continue on with the white-black. And so I'm just going to go with the Flare of Faith. We aren't really locked into black just yet. And then Olivia's Midnight Ambush isn't one of the premier removal spells. I would be okay with having them, but it's not enough for me to say, oh yeah, we're drafting black today. Okay, well, Homestead Courage is fine. I think it's a little bit better than the Soulgriff Guide. Just this felt like a pretty good card at the beginning of the format, as kind of a game ender slash closer, but I don't think it's that great here. But the other thing we do have to kind of stop and consider is like, what if we do land in this Boros deck? The Fangblade Brigand is quite good. We can be picking up Homestead Courages. Like we're only going to play like one, and we can pick up one later. It's a fairly easy common to pick up. I think I'm going to play under the idea here that we might land in Boros. And so I'm going to pick up the Fangblade Brigand. I don't think we're going to be upset if we don't have that Flare of Faith in our deck. Or not Flare of Faith. That's what we're taking here. We're not going to be upset if we don't have the +1/+1 card in our deck. All right, Flare of Faith it is. At least the white cards are rolling along reasonably well. Okay, interesting. So there is the Gale Drifter. So there could be a world where the blue is somewhat open to our right, and it's just like absolutely nothing good got opened up or got snatched up quickly. Otherwise, the only play is really Clary and Cathars, which it plays reasonably well in white-black. It's not something I'm ever excited about, but I think I'm going to go with the Gale Drifter, just kind of not forget that we have Sludge Monster over here, and maybe this will be okay. I do worry about in the next pack the our ability to find kind of white-black or blue-white cards, since we passed some pretty good blue packs to start with, but we're locking in. Oh, goody, and the Shipwreck Sifter's tabled, and so maybe the blue is open, and that was just a fairly weak set of cards. We could really be locked in to doing well in pack 3 if everyone to our right was kind of under the same assumption that blue just isn't here. So we'll see. Reasonable red cards rolling back around if we do end up in this this white-red Borosy deck. Don't want to do that, but I mean the red cards just completely rolled through. Okay, then very easy Brutal Cathar. This is just one of the top-notch white payoff cards. As far as the rest of these cards go and what can come back here, pick 9. Not too much that we'd ever be excited about. If we're in red, there'd be a Perforator or a Stolen Vitality. If we're in blue, it would just be something like a Blinking Observer. I don't think we're going to be looking at too much more out of this pack, but very happy to pick up Brutal Cathars. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, if we just ever end up in white-red, I think we could kind of ignore the Eaten Alive. It's just like if we're going to end up in blue-white, we really want to be heavily focused on Disturb or heavily focused on Flyers. None of that are things our deck can do at this point. We don't have any Disturb units up to this point, and it's just not looking like there's a lot of potential for blue-white. I don't feel like we skipped on too much picking up these like Shipwreck Sifters and the Gale Drifter, but I think this is the kind of space where we just jump in on Boros. I really like how these cards we have line up with an aggressive Boros deck. I mean, we've got a bunch of good combat tricks in the Flare Faiths and the Stolen Vitalities. We have the good 3s and the Brimstone Vandal, some good late game in the Brigand, and now we're getting a Sunrise Cavalier. I think this is the time and the place to try and jump in. Otherwise, if we wanted to really lock ourselves into blue-white, I think we would take this Bait-Hook Angler as our first kind of disturb card, but I think this is the place to be, as in Boros. Okay, and so fairly weak set of cards. I think we just want the Gavany Silversmith here. He can play reasonably well in this style of deck, just kind of boosting up our earlier bros so they can come in for better combats. So let's see, if we make our deck look like this, these are all playable. Locked in the Cemetery can come over. Shifters can come over. Let's move our spells the way we like those to be. Immolation can scooch over one more. Perforator is good. Borrowed Time is removal. Okay. It's a reasonable place to be. I think we can come in with one Silversmith, but we are going to have to focus more on the early end of our curve. Okay, then a fairly weak set of cards here. There would have been a Fading Hope if we wanted to play blue, but I think I feel like I'm pretty well locked into this. And so I don't want to be taking Clary and Cathars. We don't really have the combos with this, right? If you're using it to hit Covens because you need a one power unit, that's fine. If you're using it in the sacrifice decks, it's fine. But here in Boros today, just being a knight is really the only bonus we're getting. So I'm just going to come down here and take the Lambolt Harrier. Not excited about it, but we're trying to be aggressive, and we need these aggressively centered cards. Okay, very strong on the Gavany Downguard. Just a real bruiser of a unit to potentially give us some card advantage. Happy to take it. Hopefully, we need some of these Homestead Courages to come back. I've been kind of letting them go, but they play quite well here, especially with the likes of Festival Crashers. I was trying to think of how many Festival Crashers we passed in the first pack. I know it was at least one. But this is going to be a pretty high-valued card here as we look to pick up things like Homestead Courage. We have a couple of combat tricks. He, of course, plays fantastically with Stolen Vitality. I think we can make this work here. I'm going to ensure that we have at least one Homestead Courage. I kind of like picking up the Lunarch Veterans just to have some early game plays, but I'm going to be really upset at the end of the day if we don't have at least one Homestead Courage. Okay, well, these cards are all fairly bad. This isn't a Sunset Revelry deck. We're never going to get the tokens out of this, so we'll just take the Soulgriff Guide. Don't have a lot of intent on playing it. but we might need a piece of top end here. And definitely want the Stolen Vitality over the Barrage. It just plays fantastically with the Crashers if we can get them going. Having these turns where we play a Homestead Courage, flash it back, and then get a trample hit in. Just big time plays as far as these decks are concerned. Let's move these blue-black cards to the sideboard. Sorry, Sludge Monster. I wanted to play with you today, but it just didn't happen. And the Eaten Alive. Okay. Not the most impressive collection of cards, but we can make it work. I'm just going to rare draft the Pithing Needle. Raise the Effigy can be playable in these decks, but we already have 4 combat tricks, and it's not going to make the cut. Clarion Cathars probably won't make the cut either, but we'll wait until we get closer to our 20-some cards. Oh, that's a Garda's Splendor. I thought that was the big Mythic. I've seen this roll around. I don't think we can play it here. I think there's a world where this is acceptable, but it's going to be in like a white-black control deck. So we're just going to swing over here and pick up the Candlegrove Witch, just the most aggressively centered card out of red-white here. Yeah, I want the world to where we can play this, but this is not the deck for it. Okay, but Angel Fire Ignition's what this is all about. This is like one of these spaces as to where if this was like an ultra competitive event, I would wonder if we could actually table this, because the card we would like to take here is the Ambitious Farmhand, and then we're going to assume that nobody else at the table is playing Boros, and then we could actually wheel the Angel Fire Ignition at pick 9. But I just being a rare, I don't think we can ever realistically get this to come back. But this is an extremely powerful card. I mean, there are 2 really good white cards here. Maybe the Loyal Griff would table, but I think it's something like this is where we'll end up getting a Homestead Courage. Okay. Well, oh, hang on, never mind. I was going to say there's nothing here, but there's actually just a big-time removal spell in the Fateful Absence. Absolutely stoked to pick that one up. Okay. All right. Well, white has to be open here to our right if we're getting third picked Fateful Absences. So that's good. Here we get the Festival Crashers in a premier early game aggressive unit. Happy enough with that. The Cathar's Call, I don't think we'll be able to use here. I'm just going to go with the Voldaran Stinger. I don't like Sungold Barrage in this format anymore. It really makes me kind of upset. All right. Well, here there is a Ritual of Hope. We had like a big go wide strategy I think we could go for, but I'm happy enough with our 2 Flare Faiths, 2 Stolen Vitalities. I'm just going to go with the unit and the Perforator. All right, Candlegrove Witch, perfect. Very quick and easy pack there. I'm not going to play Unruly Mobs, so we'll just take the uncommon. All right. This has come together. I have to see. My concerns as far as this one goes are like, how do we get these Candlegrove Witches in the air? Which shouldn't be that challenging from the 1 attack perspective, right? We've got the Farmhand, the Stinger, the 2 Festival Crashers that tend to lead to that. It's actually the 3 attack units that are going to be a little bit more challenging in this space. We only have the Dawn Guard and the Cavalier in the 3-drop space. But outside of that, I think this looks fantastically fine. I would like to have another Homestead Courage, I think. I feel like that's the only one I'm really upset about. If we could pick up another Festival Crasher, that would be nice as well. I think that, I can't tell if that was our pick 8 or if our pick 8's rolling up. I can't quite remember how that works, but looks like that was our pick 8. So are we going to play something like Ardent Elementalist? It's not, particularly aggressive. It's not aggressive at all, but we do have this good collection of spells that we could potentially look to pick up. Oh, I don't think we're ever going to play the Raise the Effigy, though, so I think it's safe. Ooh, goody. Another Homestead Courage. This is the world where we could play Pax Betrayal. I don't think it's going to make the cut today, but could be done. All right, as this finishes out, let's see what we could do with this. Lots of raw power in here, looking like a nice little Boros deck. Some big time rares rolled through for this one. So yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm upset about is I feel like we missed out on 1 Festival Crasher, and then I would love to have seen if we could have wheeled this Angel Fire Ignition. But otherwise, I think this is all okay. This is gonna be a 16-land deck, so we'll go ahead and cut one out, and then we just need to cut this down to four cards. I don't think there's anything in our sideboard we ever want to play. We're not playing Hedgewitch Mask. Red, we don't need Raise the Effigies. I would love to play Pax Betrayal, but I don't think that's going to be happening here. So let's see what we can do. Was it T:/CR? What splits them up? Perfect. And so how many units is this? Click card sleeves. Thank you. We're up to 18, so we could look to cut out a couple. I'll be looking at the likes of, say, Soulgrift Guide, and then probably the Ardent Elementalist. And then as far as the rest of our spells go, I think we want to cut out Immolation. It is a nice, like, tempo-based card, but I don't think that's where we're at with this deck. The rest of these spells, I'm pretty sure I want to just hang on to. So that would make us cut out 3, get us down to 15 creatures. We're going to have to get rid of 1. I think we need it to be the Stolen Vitality. It's such just a great game ender with these Festival Crashers, though. Like, we're kind of banking on the Crashers a lot with these Homestead Courages and trying to make these big combo plays. I think we could do without the Flare of Faith. And up here, kind of want to hang on to this Elementalist. But, like, a lot of our spells here are really kind of counting on the flashback between the Angel Fire Ignition and the Homestead Courages. It doesn't leave us with a lot. It's just going to be this middle set of spells here, the Fateful Absence, the Flare of Faith, and the 2 combat tricks. I think the Elementalist can go. And then one more. How many 2s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's fine. Kind of looking at the Soulgrift Guide here. I do like that he can go over top of these boards and try to close things out that way. I think I actually want to hang on to the Clarion Cathars. Again, just as a way for us to have a 3-attack unit. Do like the Vandals in these aggressive decks. Want to hang on to the Harrier so we have a way to spend our mana in the late game. Want to hang on to our Stinger. Yeah, I think it comes down to either the Soulgrift Guide or the Clarion Cathars, and I'm just going to take the expensive one out here. How do we get you out of the deck? Okay, that's looking like it. So let's get to battle. Let's see if we can't use this sweet Boros deck to get ourselves into Mythic. That'd feel pretty good, right? That has to be the crowning achievement in this format of climbing into Mythic is doing so with the Boros deck. But this is one of these things where, like in Runeterra, I felt like you didn't really get you didn't get the payoff for runs like this. In Runeterra, you really just kind of got rewarded for showing off your 7-win trials. But if you were taking these these drafts to where you're kind of average player would only get 1 win out of them, but we are able to get like 3 and 4 wins out of it. That's the big time things that you need to climb up into Mythic and take your Mythic up into the ranks, is taking those bad decks and making something really good out of them. But hopefully that's what we can do here with this Boros deck. We kind of identified that blue-white wasn't happening, where blue wasn't open, and then the Disturb cards weren't there. And then really just turn it into, something maybe we can take to 4 or 5 wins. Alrighty. Well, let's keep our aggression up. Against blue-green. The Brutal Cathar can be quite interesting if it gets to stipe off like a Shadow Beast sighting token. So we'll keep that in mind if it shows up here. Okay. Just hurting for land or something to do? That's quite an odd Fading Hope. Like, you can't even... Like, it's not like you're drawing the card this turn. Interesting. So yeah, where do we see ourselves with this one? We have a couple of options. We can play the Dawn Guard again. I'm not amped about it, but we could. We could also add Brutal Cathar to this board, which is where I'm leaning more towards. If it gets to flip over to Werewolf side next turn, that's going to be quite good. And then if opponent still has like a big play or something, we can take it down with Borrowed Time. Oh, this would be so sick though if we had the 2 farm hands, and then if we had the Angel Fire Ignition wheel back to us. I'd be so stoked with that. Drownyard Amalgam. You got it, my man. Ooh, he lost a scab in there. And so with this, I'm just gonna pass. Right, it's gonna send it to nighttime. I don't think the Brutal Cathar gets to flip back on our turn, but then we can most certainly play 2 spells on our next turn. So I think that's safe enough. As a blue-green deck, they shouldn't have too many answers to something like Brutal Cathar, right? They can clear shot or duel for dominance would be the only ways to kind of removal spell it. Otherwise, they just have ways to bounce it and tap it, which aren't fantastic ways to deal with a Brutal Cathar. Guarantee you at some point in this draft we'll be at nighttime playing the Moonrage Brute and expecting to remove a unit and not getting it. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, this is good, and we pick up the Flare of Faith. I'm leaning more towards just playing the Homestead Courage here, though. It is a little all-any on our Brute, but I think this is okay. Alright, so this swing it back to Day. I'm looking to just pull out this Dawnhard Mentor now. Maybe we could leave him off of a Coven. That's probably safer. I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather him be spending his mana on giving out +3/+3 as opposed to just having this 3/3 unit on the board. I think this is okay. Like he's got something in the old bag of tricks here, but nope, nice. So we can get like really aggressive in this space now. Like we can do something like put a flashed back Homestead Courage onto our Ambitious Farmhand and then flip it into the lifelink unit. Seems pretty powerful. We just got to see what they have for us here. Slogurk is not that intimidating. And then we also just have like Flare of Faith in our hand, which we can blow up one of these combats with. I feel like the only real downside to this deck is we didn't pick up any of the red removal, and so if we want to have these turns where we say like pass to make it go night and then play a midnight lightning bolt on our opponent's turn, so that we're not just skipping out on tapping all of this mana. I think that would be nice, but it's not where we're at. How do we feel about this one? I think I still kind of like this Homestead Courage play onto the farmhand. Make a bad combat for opponent. Otherwise, I mean, we're just trying to go wide. We could trade the Dawnguard for the Slogurk. We can't just be passing here. We got to be playing some amount of cards to the board. I think this is okay. Alright, much bigger attacks next turn. Maybe we'll be able to get him with this Flare of Faith as well. I wonder if his hand is just like spent and he's playing these Secrets of the Key to keep us from flipping our Cathar again. All right, well, let's play cards this turn. I think I like this line onto the ambitious farmhand the most. Are we not Covenant? Oh, we lost our one? No, whatever. We can Flare Faith if we want to protect one of our units this combat. A little sloppy, though. A little sloppy. Okay. Okay, not too much happened there. He played a land, played an eccentric farmer. We're still looking good. He only has the forest to play here. I think we can just like Homestead Courage our Cathar. Don't really intend on attacking with it, but I do want to hit a Coven, so we should just play it on the Dawn card then. Fixed that little problem. Now we can get in there. Sure. You gotta block with something, my man. Okay, so hopefully we can just wrap this up next turn. All right, pop in the clues. Sure. I guess we could have played the Festival Crasher to get our Coven going. I don't think it matters here. Can't target the Brute with anything. Makes him lose 3 life. Maybe like a bounce spell on a Candle Grove Witch and a block onto the Brute or something, only getting in for 2 damage, but so gain 2 health. Sure. Double sure. All right, yeah, I'm not sure what scenario there is where we ever lose this game, but guess we'll find out. Maybe we should have only played 1 unit there. The brutal Cathar getting bounced could have been kind of annoying. I think we still win the game in that sense anyways, but could have been bad. All right. Winning game one. What a rarity. I swear when we played Rune Terror, we lost like 80% of our game ones. Not as painful there, though, since that was one where you have to lose 2 in a row, and it's not a matter of just losing 3 overall. So you could, once you got that win, it was kind of immediately forgotten that you lost a game. Cool. Yeah, well, as we load, I hope your football teams did well the previous day. Getting ready to watch the Chiefs game here myself. See what land of disappointment I can end the day with. Here, this is fine. Like Festival Crashers, Angel Fire Ignition are gonna be best friends in this game, and so let's see if we can't pull off something sweet with these. Alright, well, I mean, you can technically just go for it here, but I don't think that's the way to handle this. Let's just go ahead and add the Candlegrove Witch. Then if we like draw a unit next turn, we might have like 2 potentially good attacks. He's done nothing. This is a very scary place to just try and go all in on. If he's gonna have a defense trait, we need to wait a turn to where we can like Flare of Faith something. I think this is okay. Let's just get the egg out of here. It should be like tough for them to actually use it, but I think we have good enough cards to where we can slide past something like that. Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste. Just actual all of the abilities. Alright, we'll have fun racing that. So yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty all in on the Festival Crasher at this point. The frightening thing with this is it's not a human; it's a devil. So we can't Flare Faith protect the Festival Crasher from whatever Defense Trader type of card is going to be coming up here. I think this is the kind of turn where he runs into problems. Do we just go for it? Like they clearly have a play here. I don't think we can just go all in on the Festival Crasher, but you can see where the power in this type of thing is. Oh my gosh, does he actually just have nothing? No way. No way, he's got to have something here. Alright, well, we lose out on the trample. Ooh, hang on. Let's just do it. This is going to take it up to 7, so it'll survive. This might just be lethal. Yeah, it is. LOL. That's how you crash the festival. I'm glad we got to put one of these big blowouts on paper. Oh, that made my day. Ah, sweet. So yeah, speaking of made the day, one of the things pretty sweet that's happened here recently. My mom just moved to Kansas City, which is sweet all in itself, but she brought with her a lot of Magic cards that I forgot existed, and I like really pared down my collection before I moved out here. So I just thought kind of like everything was gone at that point, but it turned out there was still a bunch of stuff there. Then going through it, up to this point, I've found 4 Badlands, I found 2 Volcanic Islands, found a the States extended art door in the Siege Tower, found a either 4 or 5 City of Traders. The Ancient Tomb was a sad one. Ancient Tomb used to be worth a bunch of money, but looks like they reprinted it and it dropped. But I found like 4 or 5 Ancient Tombs. The big one I'm hoping to find is I know I have a Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale somewhere. I haven't been able to find the Tabernacle. I'm hoping that one turns up as I go through my stuff more, but yeah, it's been pretty sweet. Still got more piles of stuff to go through. hoping to catch a couple more dollars in there. But alrighty, back to this game. Not a lot we can do about starts like this. I really don't like these 4-land hands in limited. Just it's so bad as we like pick up a plains off the top, but hopefully we can get some goodies out of this. I'm more than happy to Brutal Cathar Root Coil Creeper. Just if we can, take their ramp off the table, and now we are playing against blue-green again. So there is this world where we can just take down multiple units with the Cathar. And it would be kind of tempting to go for it here, but we can't make 2 plays on our next turn. So I suspect we'll get hit with a Shadow Beast sighting here, but we can still at least attack into the Shadow Beast with the Brigands. He's going to get first strike. Change of plans. So I'm not going to attack with the Brute. This is still a reasonably scary turn, but if he has a combat trick for like the Unblinking Observer onto Festival Crasher, I'm more than happy to just let that go. Okay, we can double spell. We'll take down the Observer next turn. Yes, I'd like to put this on top. And you just get tons and tons of incidental damage that way. Quite nice. You had to take the 3 damage from the dude, and then now we're just going to get to replay it. Pretty sweet, if you ask me. Like, what's he even supposed to do here? Play a Shadow Beast? He knows it's just going to get popped by the Cathar. But he's got to play something, or this Fangblade Brigand is pretty scary next turn. Not cool. All right, can't feel good being at 1 against a Brimstone Vandal. It's a bit of a way out of it. He's doing all them mathematics. It's kind of scary over there. Okay. So we can get in for 2 with the Vandal. Right, he has Menace, so he can't block it. Not going to play any cards. So it's going to go to Knight. Now, he can only play 1 card this turn. We're going to have to wait a bit if we're going to try and get that last point of damage in with the Vandal, but it's really going to limit their plays from this point forward. So this Eviscerator's ready to go big. That we're 1 land short of doing the +1 ability on himself than the +2 ability to the team. But okay. What do we got? Candlegrove Witch. Okay, then not playing any cards here. We want to threaten playing both 2 cards in the 1 turn so we can go back to day and kill with the Vandal. I think that seems better than just trying to go wide here. Right, he's still in this space to where he can only play 1 card this turn. Maybe we should, then we'd have just been wider than him, but... Sounds good. Yeah, the more I think of it, the more I like that. If he can't play 2 cards, because we'll kill him, then we should probably just go wide, put the pressure onto them. Well, looking good. Cruising right along. Ooh, Angel Fire Ignition. It looks so good. I'm so ready to just draw. You see that Festival Crashers hanging out on the board, and you're just like, all right, Angel Fire Ignition. I'm ready. Bring it upon me. Oh, this one's scary. I mean, this is quite good if we draw planes. I think this is a hand where I'm willing to risk it. If we hit, we're going to get 2 draws at a planes to where it's kind of okay. And then if we have to go to 3 draws, it's not horrible. But, I mean, it's most certainly not good. But the payoff for this hand is so huge if we high roll a planes here in the early game. Looks like, judging by the numbers down here, with already 2 mountains in our hand, it should be like kind of like a 1 in 3 draw or so. So we get that 1 in 3 twice. Kind of. I don't know. Some nerd can work that math out better. We got 8 planes, 20 and 31 cards. Well, we can safely attack with the Stinger. I kind of like this in the sense that next turn we can, if we do have to spend our mana here, next turn we can both play the farmhand and the plains and then still have mana for Still and Vitality. A lot of times it feels like a win here if you're able to make me spend the mana on the unit, but I think this is okay. So I would like to find a plains. You gonna do the damage or the draw? The damage. That's scary. How good how good can your hands be at this point to where you're not wanting to increase the quality of your draws and just take someone from 20 to 19? A little bit scared. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. Okay. Gisa is annoying. Alright, well, let's see how this goes. I'm not amped about this. He hasn't played any removal spells up to this point, so it's a little worrisome. And if he wants to activate one of his units, he's going to have to get blasted by all of ours. Okay. But yeah, against blue-black, I don't think this Cathar is going to stick. But, I mean, he's down to just a handful of cards, so we might be able to get something going with it. Wow, that aggression continues. So can we like ever flip a farmhand on a turn like this? Is what I think this comes down to. We could like preemptively Stolen Vitality a Festival Crasher and then use that. Or we could also, even if like hit a Stinger. I think this is all good. You think he's like clearly got something, whether or not that's like a defense straight or Revenge of the Drowned. But the rest of our turn here is just huge. Alright, I'm doing stuff. Double red onto you makes you a 4. So I think this is fine. If he spends like a trick to keep us from flipping our farmhand, that means our Moonrage Brute gets to survive all this. Blowouts. So yeah, he gets to spend a removal somewhere. I assume he has some kind of bounce spell. He has to be like really intent on hitting Moonrage Brute if he's letting us do all this stuff with the stingers. Just a Nebelgast. Okay. Fantastic turn. Alright, well, we'll have to watch out for that Rotten Reunion if we're going to try and make big Angel Fire Ignition plays. So much aggression. We just win the game this turn. He's only got one card now. I think this is worth going for. I'm hoping if we, make it apparent that our Festival Crasher's scary, that we can Stolen Vitality elsewhere to just get a big blowout. Okay, our Brute has first strike. Hobbling Zombie's not a scary block. Oh my gosh, how much is this? We're hitting for 5, 8, 9? Boom. Nice. Alright, one win away. Let's see if we can't jump into Mythic on this next one. Crash that festival as good as we can. Oof. Making those big plays. I don't follow. I don't want to use the hashtag LCS big plays. I don't think anyone does that anymore. But I did see the old Cloud9 made the later stages of Worlds. I haven't really followed the League of Legends Worlds. I do like to turn it on and keep it on at background noise at work. But I didn't have the Cloud9 happenings on my radar, and so congrats to them. But all right, again, it's kind of like a reasonable enough start, even if the mana doesn't work out perfectly in the beginning. Hopefully it works out perfectly, but we have stuff to do even if we don't draw that land early, or if our next draw is a mountain and we can't play the Dawn Guard. Things have some potential here. All right, let's bring on the aggression. The Stowaway is not scary on the front side. I mean, don't get me wrong, loots are good, but it's not scary until he's on the back side getting the straight card draws. Interesting. I don't think this is worth a borrowed time. Let's just get in for the damage and keep up the aggression. want a Stolen Vitality into this just to chunk in that extra 4 damage. I think I like it. Seems better than adding a Lambolt Harrier. We've got this Angel Fire Ignition in hand, ready to go. Right, if we get to make like tempo plays with Borrowed Time here, take them down to 6 with the Perforator. This leaves us like really close to getting lethals. Candle Trap, fine. Whatever, dude, you're lame. It might have been just enough tempo to take it down here. He can draw a million cards, it's fine. We just have to make big tempo plays to try and win this game. The Festival Crasher. Guy, you're such a close way to being able to do this. Just need one more mana to really pop off here. This is the dangerous way to do it. If he has any interactive spell, then we're in a real bind with this Harrier. But without that one mana for us to be able to say like Festival Crasher plus Borrowed Time, it's just too slow for us. But there is the world where like the red in his deck is just something like a like Tempest, Storm the Tempest, whatever that thing's called. I think I actually want to draw the Harrier. We can get a couple of points of damage in with the perhaps with the block ability, and now we just get to redraw it with the Dawn Guard if it's the only or the best unit in the top of our deck. Nothing there. I think playing the Angel Fire Ignition, well, I mean, the Dawn Guard does have Ward, so it would get around a Revenge of the Drowned. It would not get around one of the cheaper bounce spells. That seems just too greedy. We're going to get punished here if his play is like Cathar Commando. But this just at least doesn't get us blown out by a bounce spell. Oh, we could have gone for it. Oh, we should have just put it on top again. I forget about this Dawn Guard flip happening. Tap out for something irrelevant, so we just win. that's our favorite play to have happen. The old tap out for something irrelevant. Okay, we beat that. We can make it so his Griff Guide can't block. There we have it. Boom. Send us right up into that Mythic. Yay, we did it. We did it. I knew it would just be a matter of time. I don't know if we did it in under a month, but nice. Look at that, the old Mythic number 368. Go us. I don't know how that works in here. I think there's my understanding of the Mythic ranks were that it just displays the top 1,000, and then if you're outside of 1,000, it puts some other kind of little indicator on there. And so I'd assume they're just not at 1,000 yet at this point. I ran into some of those at the end of the season last month. But cool. I'm not keeping a hand like this. You had to mulligan that. Our first appearance of Fateful Absence isn't really going to do it. No. I'm not going to go to 5. We've got all these 4-drops in here. I think we just get rid of the combat trick in this space. The little guys to beat down. You got it. Not cool. And planes. Nope. didn't call our shot good enough. Curious what's happening with opponent. It's playing red-green spells of some sort. Very odd that they don't have a turn 3 play out of a red-green deck. Be willing to trade a Harrier for a combat trick? I think I'm fine with this. That's what it takes to buy time. I mean, we're trading Harrier for a Defend the Celestis is a less ideal option. We'll just go with the more expensive play and the borrowed time. I don't super care if he has a way to get this Willow Geist back. Interesting. I guess we should have known there aren't any flash cards that really matter here. I guess he could have played like the wolf, but such a weird line from this guy. I wonder if he's just playing another color and just doesn't have the cards. Weird. Sure. No way he's attacking. No way. I guess he could have duel for dominance. Duel for dominance would be a problem if he's able to duel down the Eviscerator. Ugh. Gross. Alright, well I want the flip. I want the card draw here. Ooh, lots of choices. Okay. Knew that was coming. Man, this would potentially be lethal this turn if we didn't miss a point of damage earlier. That's a bit unfortunate. Coming in for 6 here. He's gonna have a combat trick. Would have been lethal. That's not the way. That's not the way the Mythics play. We just win the game with this. that's a valid question, huh? Do we ever just lead with an attack with the stinger? I don't think so. Let's give it a turn. If he doesn't have a play here, then we just win the game. Alright, so go to nighttime. Pick up the Candle Grove. He can't lethal us here. He just can't really attack either. I guess he could attack with like the human token, but we're gonna get to double spell next turn. Take something back. As long as we can just get built up to this Candle Grove Witch, then we'll be completely fine. Alright, no attacks. Enter. Then we're gonna put the Wing Shredder underneath the Brutal Cathar. Get your reach unit out of here. Might have done it, fam. Nice. Where are we at? We in the final battle? All right, all right. 3 shots at the final battle. Let's see if we can't make our Mythic run a 7-0. Would be pretty sweet. People say, oh my god, Bust is out here doing that old man shit. Saw the scene change, thought we were getting ready for battle. Right, alright. We have mastered Magic the Gathering now. Let's switch to a different game. Nah, I plan on sticking to Magic for a while. The only non-magical thing in my future is I've been playing a bit of Storybook Brawl. I would like that to replace my Lab of Legends content and kind of the casual thing to do, and then have my eyes on the Bazaar, Reynad's game from Tempo Storm. That's in the process of coming out. I really just like the auto battler archetype, and so we'll see something with it. I saw that like the next patch for Runeterra is supposed to be a big one. They said it wasn't as big as the 2.11 patch, which is when they did the kind of like big updates before the release of Bandle City. It sounds like they're probably just like removing the labs and adding in a new type of PvE format. I don't think they're really going to do anything with Expedition. This I'm going to keep it. This is a counting on a lot to happen with this Falconwrath Perforator. Just got a lot better with the Festival Crasher though. He plays fantastically with this collection of cards. Okay. This is typically a Cathar Commando. So our Festival Crasher can combat with the Cathar Commandos and the Stolen Vitalities. Do need to get it off the board at some point. I don't want our borrowed time just getting popped by the Commando. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, and then we'll stay mana efficient with the Brimstone Vandal. Maybe if we draw another land, we can get a Perforator and a combat trick next turn. Off to the races. Do we want to hang on to the Stolen Vitality here? This is kind of an interesting one. I think we can deal with just tapping out for another turn. He's not Coven. Like, him being on a Coven is the scary piece to a board like this. Right, because he gets to start lifelinking on the Ritual Guardian. That was my reasoning for wanting to keep the mana, so we could try and first strike down the Ritual Guardian. But it seemed like that's going to be a necessity here. Let's take one. I don't want our Festival Crasher getting blown up by a Flare of Faith. I'm looking to pop off the Dawnheart Mentor and then play a Homestead Courage onto our Festival Crashers. I think this is safe. He's gonna just throw a token in front of our Crasher. Well, so let's put the counter on our Brimstone Vandal. If he has the Flare of Faith to take down the Crasher, it's kind of unfortunate. Ooh, oh, buddy, might have just won this one. Let's see. He has a lot of potential to just gain a ton of health. Like if he plays any 2-drop here, or I should say any 2-attack unit, and gets to flip the Ambitious Farmhand, that's real scary. He gets to gain 6 health. But he can't combat trick out of this turn, though. So if he does want to bring in everything, then the Brimstone Vandals have a lot of potential. Okay, so what I think we're going to have end up happening here is we're going to attack with everything. He's going to block something with the Ambitious Farmhand. We're going to Fateful Absence the Farmhand and then Stolen Vitality through it. I think he's counting on getting a life-linked block here. Thinking about it. All right, so where does this land us? If we... He's going to flip the Farmhand. Let's be real on that. But if we Stolen Vitality here... That's where we want to start. GG. Got him. So yeah, nice little 7-0 with the Boros. Good stuff, am I right? Good stuff. Love playing a Festival Crasher. Love that we picked up on the Switch. Nice little adventure into the lands of Boros. Fun little run to take us up into Mythic. Let's get this one pulled up. Talk about it a little bit more. All right, so yeah, look at our little chart getting up into the getting up into the mythic space. Pretty cool. But so yeah, as far as this deck goes, I don't have like tons and tons of wisdom as far as drafting Boros is concerned. It seems like something you just kind of end up in unwillingly, and you're really kind of like counting on red to be open, which it wasn't like super open here. We did get a bit of the payoff with like the Angel Fire Ignition, but I don't think that we really took advantage of this to the biggest extent that we could. The big thing that we did here was another Festival Crasher deck. Festival Crasher with the Stolen Vitality is just kind of the common play. Adding in the likes of very cheap spells and Homestead Courage works towards the Festival Crasher, and then of course, Angel Fire Ignition was just bonkers with Festival Crashers, and so I think this is more of a Festival Crashers deck with good white cards in it, as opposed to being a big aggressive Boros deck. But I thought this turned out quite well. We recognized that the blue wasn't showing up. We abandoned some high valued blue cards. Really got a big payoff in the Brutal Cathar. And then the only kind of real strange thing I felt was I think it was in pack 3 as to where we had to take the Angel Fire Ignition over the farmhand, whereas there's a world where that Angel Fire Ignition tables. I just don't think it happens too frequently because it's a rare, right? If we were at a day 2 of a Grand Prix, we could probably consider that Angel Fire Ignition may table and come back to us at pick 10, but in a draft online, I don't think that we could ever consider that to happen. Probably never happen in your draft at your LGS either. But all in all, pretty cool. We picked up a good set of aggressive cards. That's where you want to be with Boros. We had good removal in the Fateful Absence and the Borrowed Time, and then we maximized our Festival Crashers. Really liked what happened there. But yeah, I think the draft was the more interesting piece here. I still stand by this pick, starting with Sludge Monster. I've had real issues with actually getting into blue these days. It seems like we should have maybe picked up some blue in this pack. It seemed like towards the end of pack 1 here, blue was kind of open. But at the end of the day, we didn't quite get there. But still stand by the Sludge Monster. He's all around a pretty powerful card. Then we move into pack 2 with no pickable blue cards in it. We could potentially wheel the Sifters, but we're not taking a cover up or a Sifters pick 2. And I still think the farmhand is the way to go, right? As we kind of like think about the collection of cards we want in a deck, Play with Fire doesn't quite play with a Sludge Monster deck. If we're going to be in blue-red, I want to have some of the blue-red build-around cards. I want to be seeing Generate the Tempest, whatever that spell's called, the flashback thing, or we want to be having like the Arsonist, whatever the 2-cost guy is that taps to deal damage. Like those are the cards that make me want to play blue-red. Play with Fire is just kind of a higher quality filler card. This isn't a real build-around thing. So happy enough with the Ambitious Farmhand. Reasonable take. Borrowed Time lines up well with the farmhand. Again, there's no blue cards really worth taking here. And then if we're ending up in blue-white, that's completely fine. Pick 4, Seize the Storm, is the Generate the Tempest card that we can never remember the name of. But I don't think it's worth taking here, right? If we're gonna like be in blue-red, I don't think like Sludge Monster is really the kind of place we're looking to be. I could see an argument for just taking it and seeing if blue-red comes together, but I think we more frequently either end up in blue-black, where Sludge Monster, Eaten Alive are happy together, or we end up in white-black, where Eaten Alive is also happy. The Seize the Storm is never happy in white-red, and it's kind of awkward to play with Sludge Monster. So I'm happy with the Eaten Alive here. It wasn't that big of a deal. There was a Moonrager Slash, which, at the end of the day would have been fantastic in our deck, but I think the Eaten Alive is still the safer pick. I like these Eaten Alives if it's, say, like pick 6 or pick 7. Pick 4 still feels a little weak. Like with this pack, I'm curious, like if Eaten Alive wasn't here, then I probably would have taken the Slash. I think the Slash is a safer take than the Seize the Storm, because again, the Slash is good in white-red. It's not good in or the Seize the Storm is not good in white-red. So I think that's safe. That was a safe enough pick. And then the real turds make an appearance here. Flare of Faith is fine. That's good in all of the white decks. Not taking Geist Wave. I think we're getting kind of like locked into our core as being base white as opposed to base blue. Whereas the Flare of Faith is something we play in like 100% of our white decks. The Geist Wave, we typically play, like one copy, but it's something as to where if we get like Revenge of the Drowned or the Unsummoned spell, we're just not that amped about Geist Wave. But thought that turned out good. Then we finally decided to dive into red. Fangblind Brigand is one of the premier mid to late game style cards. It's a great mana sink for the late game. Happy to snatch that up. The white cards continue with Flare of Faith. Nothing blue. We do, kind of dip our toes into blue. If these were just we weren't actually getting cut, then I do want to be in blue-white. We aren't locked into red or to black at this point, so I think the Gale Drifter is a safe pick. Locked in the cemeteries, rolling around. This is where we could have had our Festival Crasher, which I would have loved to have had an additional copy of, but still felt like blue-white could have been a thing. See, even the Shipwreck Sifters tabling, that's what makes me kind of feel like, well, maybe blue is here. Like, we're getting good quality white cards. Maybe the blue is here if we're going to get a 10th pick Shipwreck Sifters, but the things didn't quite come together. Happy we're snatching up these red cards here at the end. Red was clearly open. Brutal Cathar was an easy take. Sunrise Cavalier is where we finally make the decision. Like, it just feels so much better, right? Red was clearly open there at the end of pack 1. The Baithook Anglers is not something you want to be taking in pick 2. This is a card that you get like 6th or 7th pick when you're already in blue, and you're like, all right, well, this is good filler. Just not something I want to be taking pick 2. So I was happy with the Cavalier, really lining ourselves up to this white-red deck. Would love to have Abandon the Post in it. Another card that plays fantastically with Festival Crashers, something we just didn't get our hands on here at the end of the day. But yeah, locking into white-red. Let's keep the aggression up with the Harrier. The Dawn Guard is a fantastic unit. We need to keep our eyes open for Homestead Courages, and the Festival Crasher is our big payoff. I thought this was a very strong set of cards from this point forward. Ensuring we get our Homestead Courages is good. Soul Griff Guide don't want, but it's kind of a must take at this point. So second Stolen Vitality for our Festival Crashers. And yeah, everything from this point forward is looking pretty strong. So yeah, I don't think there was too much interesting the rest of the way. Got to take the Candlegrove Witch. No Cigar to Splendors today. The Angel Fire Ignition, we talked about this pick extensively. We would like to take the Ambitious Farmhand. Like, this would be like the ultimate high roll. If we could take the Ambitious Farmhand and then have the Angel Fire Ignition table, it's just somebody's going to rare draft this and it's not going to come back, and we are going to be pretty sad about it. But yeah, from that point forward, everything looked pretty safe and good. Fateful Absence is a high-quality removal spell. Picking up our Festival Crashers as the real build around here. I was curious about this Cathar's Call. Nothing throughout the draft made me scream like, I wish we had this Cathar's Call. And so I think the Voldaren Stinger was still the pick here. And then yeah, we're doing blue-red. We're doing white-red. Like Candlegrove Witches. And then nothing else the rest of the way, I believe, but nice little run, nice little jump into Mythic. Look at our little token up here. Go us. And so we're going to have some packs to open from this one. Let's take a quick peek at what makes an appearance. We'll call it a day. Go out there and watch them Chiefs. Good Chiefs got to win today, right? If we're going to come out here, jump into Mythic, it only seems appropriate. My fantasy teams, those are long gone. That is a injury-plagued nightmare of fantasy football, but we can hope for the Chiefs. All right, Vanquish the Horde. Get that costs 8 mana. I always expect that to just cost like 5. Vanquish the Horde Part 2. Someone screaming for me to go and play blue-white and constructed. Burn down the house. It feels like, I can't remember if this works as to where it just kind of like opens cards that you don't own. It feels like it's getting like right to the edge of the cards that we may not have 4 copies of as far as the rares are concerned. Galvanic Iteration, cool. We'll get the Alrund's Epiphanies together soon. And I guess I should say, like, I did, this is another game where it was like I was kind of wanting to run the free-to-play aspects of it. I did kind of like rebuy our gems, because that's where I expected us to need to be. But it's like I'm already kind of just like maxed out on constructed as it is. Like, if we want to play the Alrund's Epiphany decks, at least the blue-red version, like, we can go and make it the rest of the way. It just seems like it's been pretty easy in the free-to-play journey here. Well, we didn't, go about this free to play. It seems like after basically one iteration of $100, we have all the cards one could need for constructed. So I think we're going to kind of abandon ship on that. I'm really just going to focus on limited as far as the videos go. And then if we're going to put together constructed videos, I think we'll just focus on tournament play. But yeah, not a bad day, not a bad run. I had a lot of fun with this one. I hope you all enjoyed the video well. I hope you maybe learned how to ascend into Mythic a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.